Hey, it's your boy Exodus here. I am glad to be back for another week. I know it's late. I was supposed to have posted this Friday at 10 p.m. Some shit happened. I wasn't able to do it. But we do have an interesting topic this week. The topic this week is going to be about vehicle trims, or other people are calling it vehicle models. Really depends on what you like saying. But it's very simple. Why do we have different trims? Why do we have different models of vehicles? Right? So this goes back all the way up to the first vehicle, right? Model T. I believe it was Ford that created it. Whichever one it was. But models have been around for a long time. But are we still gonna have these trims when we move to electric vehicles? Or are we just gonna be altogether done with it and, make it a thing of the past? Because I did my research and it seems like we've always had different trims or different models of each vehicle. The SE, the LE, LX, the RT, SRT, GT, GT500, the Shelby, the Cobra. So there's always been different types of models, and it's a continuous thing. And I find it kind of crazy how, same vehicle, same engine, same basic necessities they all have, some just more than others. But there is a vehicle out there that has no model, and there's only one singular one. Bet you can't guess what it is. Hey, at the end of this video, maybe I might tell you what it is. Maybe I might not. Who knows? I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's cut to the intro, and then we can start the video. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go with the vehicles that I do know before I start speaking out the ass about vehicles that I don't know, right? Let's go with Mopar, right? So Dodge. There was the Charger, the Challenger, the Dart, right? The Challenger. The model for every Challenger is the same across the board. They all have the same engine, like same frame, almost same body, other than wide bodies with wide bodies, etc. But if you're comparing like a Challenger RT, right, and a Challenger wide body RT, the only difference is wide body. Other than that, the frame is the same. So it's weird how also different companies have their trims don't equivalent. Yeah. They just don't match each other when it comes to the amount of extra amenities. God, my English is terrible today. Yeah, but the extra little pluses that you get in the vehicle, they're not the same. So if you grab a Challenger GT, right? Most of them are the 6-cylinder ones, but then you grab a Ford Mustang GT. Big difference, right? Like when it comes to power and output, this GT is a V8. This one here is a V6. What's going on? Who knows? You know, you would assume that GT stands for Gran Turismo, meaning that the vehicle is going to put out a lot of power. But no, Dodge said, hey, GT is one of our lowest classes. Fuck it, you know? Then you can go up one in Dodge, and we'll go to the RT, right? The race technology, right? Or the race and track, or whatever you want to call it. After that, the SRT, right? Back then, like in early 2000, 2007, 8, 2009, I believe, had the SRT8, which is what we call nowadays a Scat Pack. But anything past RT is SRT. It's the SRT Hellcat, SRT Hellcat Red Eye, the SRT Demon. They're all from the SRT team, right? So companies like Dodge have their specific teams that work in performance, right? So the SRT stands for Sport Racing Technologies, or technology, singular. And they focus on making literal performance vehicles. And the team got split up once Stellantis bought out Chrysler. Or not bought out, they basically merged. All these automobile companies merged and became one major corporation, basically, which is Stellantis, which has their finger in a bunch of like Maserati, Fiat, and a few others I can't remember right now off the top of my head. But they just went merged, bam, became one company. And the team at SRT split and went each in one of the companies. It was a big ass team. They split it out. Now every car company that falls under Stellantis has a member of the SRT team. They're basically trying to bring performance and stuff into the other vehicles. So sooner than later, you'll see really good performance mods on these vehicles, especially like the Maserati that had issues with its engine and its performance packages. Now, you know, with a member of the SRT team working right under Maserati, they might be able to, you know, you might see SRT and RTs coming out in different vehicles from different countries, like Fiats and stuff like that, if SRT has anything to do with it or have any say in it. But yeah. So trims, right? They're the same vehicle, same size, and it's insane. If you think about it, you open up a Challenger, right? You open up the hood, and you look inside, right? Let's put an RT Scat Pack, right? Or better yet, let's make a bigger difference. An RT and a Hellcat, right? Hellcat has a twin screw supercharger on top, big throttle body, like fat ass one. I think it's a 34 millimeter one, big fat throttle body. And it has its air intake hoses coming right out of the headlights, right over the center ones, right? The RT has the same ability to be converted to that type of air intake easily. I could buy, if I could go up to a Dodge dealership, like, hey, yo, man, I want to buy an intake for, you know, my Hellcat. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, why not? Sell it. You literally can just grab that bitch, drop it in the RT, and it works. It's simple, really. All they did was cover up the hole with like a literally, you can pinch it from the inside of the cab, push the little cap off, bam. Now there's a hole in the center of that headlight, which then you just plug in the air intake in there, plug a little hose in, boom. Now you have the same air intake or cold air intake that the Hellcat has. Simple as that. Because the vehicle's the same, the frame is the same, the space inside the engine bay is the same. And then they just added little extra amenities in there to make it, you know, beefier. You also have different modes that vehicles come with. Like sometimes you can get an RT and have some SRT or some Hellcat or Scat Packs modes in there. Like you can get the RT, was it Sport? You can get an RT with the Super Track Pack, right? Which comes with launch control and a bunch of other cool things, including like a module which lets you see like what each gauge shows, how much G-force you're getting in the vehicle from the rear or the side, depending on when you turn, or the horsepower, torque, engine oil pressure, and I think that's it. I can't remember off the top of my head, right? So that comes with the Super Track Pack, and it doesn't come with the base model RT. So if you can get an RT and get an RT that has the Super Track Pack, and they have an extra little button, just one little button, and you probably had to pay like $5,000 for that version of the trim. Insane, right? It's weird to me that these trims, models, whatever you want to call them, they're just a little more extra, a little bonus. Like you could probably get an RT with the smaller navigation or smaller Uconnect and not have navigation. Or you can get one with the bigger one, which has navigation capabilities and CarPlay and all that stuff. It's insane. Ricky and I have the same car, same year, same model. Only difference is his is a manual, mine is automatic. I know, you're probably gonna talk shit. Hey, automatic is still good on the drag strip. Don't give a fuck. But yeah, I had the full screen with the Uconnect that had CarPlay and navigation, and my vehicle came with the Super Track Pack, which his vehicle did not. His vehicle also didn't come with that navigation system. So like, same year, same model, same, I guess, trim, as I was saying, but I still had more, I had a slightly better trim. And it's insane how like it can be something so minute like that we can change everything. You slap a fucking Scat Pack on there and you get all this, like a bigger throttle body, better cold air intake, and then small little other things, a little bit more horsepower that you can get because of small things that you literally can grab and put in an RT, and basically it have the capability of the Scat Pack, but it just doesn't have the badge. And at that point, you can just buy a badge, slap it on there, and bam. Because if it has the same parts, the same little bonuses that comes in with the higher trim, and at that point, it is that trim. It is astounding to me though. Like it's literally plug and play. They're not. Imagine if companies, when they made trims and models, they just made them all different. That'd be one, expensive for them. Because imagine like, okay, this is the RT model. The body's gonna look like this. Okay, this is the Hellcat model. The Hellcat model's only gonna look like this. It's dumb. No one's gonna do that. No one's gonna waste their time and do that. It's just gonna make their life harder. They're gonna spend more money. It's just not beneficial for them. So companies literally just use the same vehicle. Same vehicle frame. Next, you have Ford, right? Perfect example, the trucks for Ford, right? Also with Dodge too, but not talk too much about Dodge, let's talk about Ford. Ford has the F-150, the 250, the 350. They all look the same. They all have the same amount of power. I mean, I lied. As you go up, they have different amount of power and torque for the job, but they basically look the same. Their frame is the same, so if I get a single cab 150, it's gonna look like a single cab 250, but it'll probably have a little better, like a bigger navigation screen, or like fucking air suspension to be able to adjust when you're towing, some extra bullshit that you'll get, that you can also get in the 150 and add it. But at that point, wouldn't you just be getting a 250? At that point, I would just say get a 250. Right? it's insane. Like they're the same truck, but there's different trims for it. There's different versions of it. And they just did that with numbers. Then you have the Ford, the Mustang GT, which is the 5.0, right? The badass 5.0. Then you have the GT 500. Then you have the Shelby GT 500. And it's like, and you can't even get me started. There's the Cobra also, that was a trim. And it's insane. Like, it's all these trims, same vehicle, same. The Shelby GT 500 does have a different engine, but like the other ones, same engine, right? Just little additives here. Better cam, bigger throttle body, better lifters, you know? Little small things that add up, of course, in price, but small things that make the trim. And there's like other companies too, like the Hyundai Sonata, right? There's a GLS, then there's the S, the sport model. You're paying for a little button in that, to be honest. You know, so sometimes trims on vehicles don't make any sense. So when you're going to a dealership and they're like, hey, yeah, this is the GLS standard, you know, you don't want that, you know. Nah. We've got Sport one, and you look at the Sport, and all it has is these spoiler that doesn't do jack shit when it comes to performance. But you're getting the Sport one, yeah. Why? Why? Really? When it comes to things like that, like it's kind of like, why would I get a Sport just to get an extra little Sport button and get this crazy little spoiler, some cool like 20-inch rims, and I'm like, oh yeah, sorry dude, I have this Sport. It's dumb. Hold on, my camera's about to die. And we came back. Yeah, camera's about to die. Crazy. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense, the trims, at all. Like the GLS, the Sport, they're not anything extra in some of these vehicles, other than like small little, extra little, you know, bonuses that come with the vehicle, or a new rim, or spoilers, or, I don't know, sunroof. Like, so, when it comes to models and trims, it really depends on the manufacturer and what those trims do. But in the end, if you're like in a tight situation financially wise, and you know, you really would like the higher end version or model of that car, just wait. Seriously, just wait. Wait, save up money, and you literally can just take it to the dealer and be like, hey, can you add this package? How much would it cost? They'll be like, hey, yo, probably be expensive, but yeah, it's 10 grand more. You're like, okay. And if you're willing to drop 10 grand, drop 10 grand, boom, get the upgraded package. You know, so it's like, shit, it can even get cheaper. As time passes on, it could get cheaper. You know, as like the 2023 comes out, the 2024 comes out, maybe that package that was 10 grand when it first came out, now it drops down to like 6 grand. So it's like, it really just depends. You don't really need to get a trim unless the trim changes the engine size or something like that. Like those trims are like the ones that like, yeah, you have to pick at that point, because if not, you're like, you're screwing yourself over. Kind of like with the GT and the RT, or vehicles that have turbos in them. Like, oh no, that can be added. So basically, just the GT and the RT. To give an example, one's a V6, one's a V8, one's a Hemi, one's not. That is a trim you want to pay attention to, right? Just like like I said, the GT and then the Shelby GT 500 have a different engine. So that you can't really replace. But anything else that's extra that's part of that trim can be always added later. Like I now could still go to the dealership and add self-starting or a remote start to my vehicle, and I'll have to get a new key fob too. So you gotta think about the expense of that, and then I can just go boop boop, my car turn on. But that's an $800 ad, or $800 or $900 with labor and the parts, right? But it can be added, even though that's maybe was part of another trim. So, all in all, trims are really not that important. Now, the only vehicle that does not have any other trim or any other model is the Bugatti La Voiture, Voiture, I don't know how you say that name, Voiture Noir. So that's a custom-made Bugatti. And they only make, like, I think 2 custom vehicles a year. So that right there would be the one, just an example of a vehicle that has only one model, one trim, nothing else. Crazy, huh? So if you want to get something unique, get a custom car. If you can afford to drop 18 million, no, something like that, yeah. Other than that, we have trim levels, so you can decide what you think is a necessity in a vehicle, or what you need and what you don't need. I believe that's why the car manufacturers made it, because they can make a vehicle a little bit more affordable to someone's like, hey, I just need to drive. But someone's like, hey, I'm willing to drop a couple extra thousands of dollars and get this little, upgraded trim, I'll do it. If I want to get the luxury pack, could do that too. It's kind of like the Jeeps, how they have the Jeep, the Laredo, the Sport, and then the Sierra, and yeah. So those are different trims for the Jeeps, and each one as you go up comes with an extra package in 4x4 or something like that. Fun fact, if you didn't know this, Jeeps are not always all 4x4. Which to me is pointless to get a Jeep if it's not a 4x4. Just saying. All right, guys. Thanks for watching our video this weekend. Please do subscribe, hit that like button, and ring that bell notification. All right? And please do check out our Facebook, Patreon, Instagram, boop. And our website, of course, is up, like I told you, www.xrprodoc.com. Just so you can stay updated if there's anything that happens. I usually will post it there. If I don't post it there, I usually post it with the video. Especially if I'm a day late like today. Sorry. Dealing with a lot of stuff at work. Kind of like screws up my posting schedule. Pisses me off. I'm half thinking about moving this shit to Saturday. Straight up. All right, guys. Deuce.